Now, we all know Colin Coward loves talking about the Iowa Hawkeyes. Loves talking about how they have such a great program out there and their excellent scheduling and just their identity in the NCAA, blah blah blah, whatever. But who else likes talking about Iowa? Hi, my name is Jonathan Archer, and I'm bringing you a new show all about Iowa Hawkeyes football. Now, I have been a fan of Iowa for the longest time, ever since I want to say about 2011, 2012, back when I was a young buck. And, I've always wanted to do something like this, and now that I have an opportunity to, I've got the equipment, I've, got the smarts, I know what I'm doing, I can do it. So I am going to go ahead and give you a show all about Iowa, talking game recaps, talking, upcoming stuff, stuff that's going to affect games and all that stuff. Today I'm going to be talking about new coaches, new offensive coordinator Brian Ferentz, a QB battle, which is a very tight one there in Iowa City, and Manny Rugumba being suspended, and what it means for Iowa going into that first game in September 2nd versus Wyoming. So first I want to bring up Ken O'Keefe. I couldn't really find much on this guy. I just could find that he was a coach, or like an offensive coordinator, I think, at Miami, or like a wide receivers coach, I think, actually. And then he was a offensive coordinator there at Iowa from 1999 to 2011. Ken Copeland, new wide receiver coach there at Iowa. Don't know much about him. Did a little bit of research, heard he was successful at his programs. Hopefully he can bring something new to these Iowa Hawkeyes younger receivers, and hopefully like Matt Vandenberg, Adrian Falconer, what's his name, Devontae Young, can teach those new guys, the graduate transfers and the freshmen, some new things, and hopefully can get this team into a great position going into 2017 and 2018. Tim Polasek, love this guy to death. He is amazing. I love his attitude during practice. He goes 110% all the way. He's the new offensive line coach there at Iowa. He was the offensive coordinator at North Dakota State University, which I know they beat Iowa last year, but you got to have respect for Tim Polasek. He is an amazing coach right now at Iowa. The thing is, if you do something wrong, he's going to let you know you did something wrong, and he is going to punish you for it, basically. And that's what I love about him. And he's always he's screaming. He's not, oh man, you got to do this, you got to do that. No. He's like, he's in your face. And he's like, oh, what was that, And last but least, Brian Ferentz. He's been with the program for a while. He knows it. He was the offensive line coach before Tim Polasek came in, before Brian Ferentz was named new offensive coordinator in 2017. Hopefully he can bring something to this offense that, is going to help Iowa be successful in 2017. Next up on my list of things to talk about is the Iowa Hawkeyes QB battle between Nathan Stanley and Tyler Wiegers. Now, this is a tight one in Iowa. A starter will hopefully be named by Monday is what Iowa coaching staff says, but you never know. Honestly, if it was me, a coach there, I would push everything I could to get Nathan Stanley to be the starter, because I just feel like I just like the way he plays. I saw him during Kids Day. Now, when I watched Tyler Wiegers and Nathan Stanley during the spring game, I was like, oh my gosh, these guys need some help. Because I think they collectively threw, 3 interceptions, and it was all Brandon Snyder. Or not Brandon Snyder. I can't remember his name, but they threw 3 interceptions to one guy, I think. And but I've seen them, they're improving. They're starting to do really well going into fall camp, and Nathan Stanley, in my opinion, is just doing a heck of a lot better than Tyler Wiegers. But you never know. Tyler Wiegers could always surpass him for his senior season, because Tyler Wiegers is a junior this season and Nathan Stanley is a sophomore this season. They didn't redshirt Nathan last year. They named him back up to C.J. Beathard last year. He went 5 for 9 with 62 yards with a 56.5 completion percentage and 6.89 yards averaging according to ESPN. and I don't know. I mean, just the fact that he was named the backup in front of Tyler Wiegers, who was there longer than Nathan Stanley, was something that's going to, like, it's a real big factor for me. I mean, I feel like that's what the coaches got to be thinking about as well. Losing Manny Rugumba, that is the last thing on my list to talk about, but I also might have to bring something else up after I talk about Manny Rugumba. But let's get into talking about Manny Rugumba. Losing Manny Rugumba is a big thing for Iowa, considering Josh Allen being the quarterback for Wyoming. Josh Allen, he's a great prospect going into the 2018 draft. He's had a very successful career there at Wyoming, and now he's bringing his talents to Iowa City September 2nd to play the Iowa Hawkeyes. And, I don't feel like, even though they're losing Manny Rugumba, and they already do not have Brandon Snyder due to injury, I don't feel like Wyoming can win because of just everything else. They got a good passing game, but their running game was 92nd last season, all NCAA, and, and also we have 8 returning starters on defense, but one of those returning starters is Brandon Snyder, so we won't count him. But we got Nathan Budgeta, Bo Bauer, Parker Hesse, who he's a really good player, Josie Jewell, Matt Nelson, Ben Neiman, and Miles Taylor, also Brandon Snyder, who I said is not going to be able to play due to injury. So, even though we're losing Manny Rugumba, we're losing Brandon Snyder, we do have backups to Manny Rugumba, as in Michael Ojumida and Joshua Jackson, and possibly even freshman Matt Hackins out there. They're saying that he is just a natural cover corner, and he can just get the job done for Iowa out there. So that should be it for today's show, but I do have one question for you. Do you feel like Iowa's defense and Iowa's offense can be strong enough with new quarterbacks, new receivers, good offensive line, good running backs, a lot of returning starters on defense, and a good, solid defensive back, as in quarterbacks and safeties? Do you Hawkeye fans, and any other fan in general, do you guys feel that the Iowa Hawkeyes can get back to a 12-0 format that they had in 2015? Let me know in the comments below. My name is Jarchi78. I will see you next time. Goodbye.